1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hi everyone, meteorologist Ethan Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. He's still in the building, don't worry. He's going to be doing the 10 and 11 o'clock newscasts. He had a busy afternoon. He was over at Paycor Stadium giving the forecast for folks who are at the Cincinnati Bengals preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm filling in for the 5 and 6 o'clock show earlier, and now I'm filling in for the 7:15 weather streaming channel, or weather streaming show rather, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. We've got an updated forecast for you. We're looking beyond the 7-day forecast, and also what to expect with the drought conditions that are ongoing in parts of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. All of that and more coming up. But let's first begin with a live look on our rooftop camera. This is looking over towards Paycor Stadium. And you can see there a lot of blue skies, beautiful conditions here this evening. Great for football. In fact, with the low humidity, it feels like football season, doesn't it? Well, I will say today is the coolest day, undoubtedly, not just for the next 7 days, but very likely the next 14 days. And we'll show you that 14-day forecast in just a little bit. But right now, temperatures as of 7 o'clock at CVG are at 77 degrees. So a really tranquil evening here in the Tri-State. You got the I-75 traffic around this bend here just before the Brent Spence, and traffic moving pretty well for the most part. Again, a very busy evening for folks downtown, not just for the Bengals preseason game, but also for the concert over at Graham Ballpark. Green Day, Smashing Pumpkins, there's a couple other artists there too, but quite a turnout, quite an evening. Believe it or not, it's a school night for a lot of kids, so hopefully they get to sleep in a little bit tomorrow if they're out and about here this evening. Take one last look at our Newport Levee camera, and this is going to go dark for a moment, so let's go ahead and switch it back over to the Paycor Stadium view on our rooftop camera. I want to remind you, too, that we are live not everywhere, almost everywhere, and that is because of course, our pregame prowl, which is live on Fox 19 and on the Fox 19 News app and on fox19.com, but we are of course live everywhere else: YouTube, Facebook, the 24/7 weather streaming channel, and on the Fox 19 First Alert Weather app. And it's also on my Facebook page too, at Ethan Emery WX. And I want to remind you too that we do accept questions, comments on our Fox 19 Facebook and my Facebook pages. You can chime in there, have any questions, be more than happy to answer those questions if you got them, and I'll check those periodically throughout this live stream. But let's begin with something I feel is very important, at least for some locations. It's pretty important. That is the drought monitor. This got issued earlier this morning, and what it is they being the folks who run the drought monitor, they look at the top layers of the soil, the amount of moisture in that soil, and they get this data and collect it on Tuesday, and then they publicize it, finalize everything, and issue it on Thursdays. And so Thursday morning, this came out, and to no surprise, areas to our east didn't get as much rain as areas towards central portions of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. So it got much worse with the drought monitor. So this weekend we had some of that rain. It was some much needed rain in parts of the area because if you looked last week, the drought monitor did have moderate drought conditions in portions of Warren County, Claremont County, Hamilton County, northern Kentucky. Not the case anymore. In fact, it's only abnormally dry, but that's still an issue. It's still going to be something for folks who are gardeners, agricultural folks, have to keep an eye on with this. But far east, it's far worse. So over towards my home county, Highland County, central and eastern portions are under what we call an extreme drought, which is the second highest rank you could possibly get in the drought monitor. So not good to see that. And that extends over towards the Scioto Valley from just south of Grove City towards Chillicothe, and also towards southeast Ohio towards the Wayne National Forest, Athens, Parkersburg, over towards Ravenwood, West Virginia. If you ever travel towards Charleston from this direction, you would run into that community, and it's also under an extreme drought. But this is something we'll be continuing to monitor because the forecast does not look good for drought conditions. In fact, not just for those spots, but even here in Cincinnati. I want to credit Steve Horstmeyer for getting the data in, and I'll show you that. In fact, you know what? I'll show it right now. So let's begin with the rainfall forecast. This is kind of a group of models. You can see these tiny little green lines here. This right here is kind of the average of it. And this is a rainfall forecast. This is, again, from one collective model that has a bunch of ensembles or a bunch of different runs. We put it together, give it one average, and that's what we're showing you here. And this is through the middle of September. Not a lot of rain, only 1.5 inches of rain. And how much do we need? Well, we need a lot more. So the rainfall needed is areas in yellow. It's this line here. It's a lot of data, so I'm going to explain this to you. Areas in yellow are the amount of rainfall we need. So today is the 22nd. This starts on the 23rd, so it starts tomorrow and goes all the way to September 19th, so the next 4 weeks. And in order to keep up with what we currently have, so if the next 4 weeks we want that drought monitor to look exactly the same as it does right now, we're going to need 4.8 inches of rain. That's just going to maintain what we currently have with the drought monitor. The normal amount of rainfall we see in the next 4 weeks is about 3 inches. The forecast is only 1.5 inches. So the forecast rainfall over the next 4 weeks is just half of what we typically see. And because of the amount of dry conditions we've been dealing with, what our soil needs is almost 5 inches of rain. So this is the target mark you want to see in order to at least have a maintained level of what we are currently dealing with the drought. In order to have what we need, what we typically see, we need 3 inches of rain. The reality, according to the latest model data, is only 1.5 inches. So this is not just for folks to our east, but also here in Cincinnati. So something we're going to have to be really keeping an eye on is the rainfall forecast. We do have some rain chances in the 7-day and in the 14-day, but it does not look like a lot, enough to deal with this. So It's about 7:22 right now. What we're going to do now is take a pause, take a look at our Facebook comments, because I focus on this a lot. I want to make sure that we go forward in this forecast to ensure that we don't have anybody left behind. Hey, Cheyenne says hello again. Hi to you. You saw me on 19 at noon earlier. Cheyenne asks, does it rain a lot in September? Usually. I know you can't tell us for sure how much rain we are going to get. Well, there are climatological normals, and I don't know off the top of my head exactly what September, the month itself, has, but every month has some range between 2 and 5 inches of rain that are normal. And I know in the fall months, typically in this region, it's a little bit drier compared to other months, but with this kept in mind, what we're focusing on is just the next 4 weeks, not a calendar date per se, but more of just between now through the middle of September. We need about 3 inches of rain. That's the normal amount. And with how dry it's been, we need more in order to compensate for how dry it's been. And the reality is we're actually seeing much less than what we typically see, according to the latest forecast. Okay, that's on the Fox 19 Facebook page. I'm also live on my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. Want to take a look there real quick and make sure that we got those comments or questions. We don't have any comments or questions there right now, which is fine. Hopefully that means that I explained that well enough. So let's go ahead and dive on into what we've got going on. Not just for us in the tri-state, but all across the country. So I'm about to open up a map. It's going to be almost a national map. And why I'm showing you this? Well, we've got high pressure right here. That's what's been keeping us nice and quiet, clear, comfortable, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to go ahead and label this. That way you know what we got. So the high pressure we've got, it's right here. Pretty strong high pressure, right? Well, we also have high pressure right here. And I would argue this one down here is bigger. It's bigger because it has much hotter air. So what I'm going to do is kind of draw right here. It's somewhere in here. And then this has cooler air. There we go. So this is the pattern setup. We got 2 areas of high pressure. And we've got some cloud cover here. That's thanks to this high pressure. But this one has a lot cooler air with it. This time of year is the beginning stages of when you have different air masses really clashing with one another. The difference between the hot, sweltering summer days and the more mild days. And we're obviously in the mild day pattern. But this high pressure is going to eventually move off to the north and east, and this one's going to take its place. Now, this high pressure, though it's strong with the temperatures, not so much with the rain. In fact, you can see quite a bit of action over towards the Four Corners into the Central Rockies. And this is going to eventually slide its way into the Mississippi River Valley, into the lower Ohio Valley, and that's going to bump up those temperatures into the weekend, into next week. So that's what we're dealing with going into next week. And while we have highs in the 90s moving in. So for those of you who want the 90s, still want that summer heat, you got it. For those of us who like the milder, cooler air, well, we at least enjoyed it while it lasted. Because it is going to get hot, and it's going to stay hot for quite some time. Now, this is from today. So this is from CVG officially. A high of 79 was observed. That was this afternoon. We had a morning low of 56 at CVG. Now, at CVG, it's a little bit warmer compared to other locations in the mornings. And I want to show you that here right now on this map. And morning low temperatures were in the 40s in some spots. I know this morning I had my windows open, enjoying the nice cool air, and it certainly felt chilly. You can see right now, this was from this morning. 46 was the morning low towards Harrison and Batesville. 46 also towards Falmouth. 48 in Wilmington. 49 in Batavia, also at the Lunken Airport. Mid-upper 40s in Middletown and in Hamilton. Up in Richmond, Indiana, 45 degrees there this morning. So quite a chilly start to the day. I'm sure a lot of those kids at the bus stops were wearing their coats. And I know Frank this morning was having his long sleeves on during his live shots over at Paycor with Jordan. But today, again, it was not bad. Upper 70s, low 80s, really nice. And now we've cooled down a little bit, obviously, since then, but it's still pretty warm out there for folks who are heading out, getting a bite to eat, or maybe are going to a soccer match, or maybe a late football practice. Hard to believe high school football starts tomorrow. We aired that story. It still blows my mind, but makes sense. It's late August. Dew points right now still very comfortable in the 40s, and this is an indication of how much moisture is available in the atmosphere. And we certainly do have dry conditions, but these numbers are going to go up. In fact, what I'm going to do now is show you the Muggy meter. And the Muggy meter, it's just a steady incline as we head on into this weekend, into next week. So here you have it. Of course, it goes up and down, but notice the gradual trend. It's going up, keeps going up. And so we got comfortable air for your Friday, for most of your Saturday, but Saturday evening, you're going to feel a difference. You're going to begin to feel the warmer air moving in, a little bit more humidity moving in, and that'll last through Sunday. And we go into Monday, dew points, it's going to be a little humid. It's manageable, but it's humid. But then we go into Tuesday, and Tuesday, dew points are going to pop up from the mid-60s to the low 70s, and that is that air you can wear, as meteorologist Jeff Creighton refers it to as, and it'll certainly be the air you can wear. And on top of that, it's a time where you need to take it a little seriously because of the heat that we're going to be working with. In fact, what I'm going to do now is show you that 7-day forecast, and we'll go back and talk about the storm chances we got in this 7-day in more detail in a moment. But want to begin now with our 7-day forecast because, of course, people want to know, how hot are we talking about? It's going to be still summertime heat. You'll see here, Saturday, a high of 88 degrees. We'll call it partly cloudy because the clouds will develop with the daytime heating throughout the day after a morning low of 60. So Saturday morning around 60, Saturday afternoon 88. Saturday night, as I mentioned, Saturday evening you'll feel that uptick in humidity. It's reflected on the overnight lows. Sometimes your overnight lows are a good indicator of how humid it's going to be. So when the temperatures aren't quite as cool, that's an indication of you might feel a little more humid. Could be some cloud cover, could be rain. There are a lot of complications of that. But in this situation, you got a morning low tonight of 54, and Saturday night into Sunday morning, mid-60s. That's a good indicator of things are going to get a bit more humid. We go into Sunday. That's our first day of 90-plus degree weather. Sunday, 91. We'll call it partly cloudy for that. And then we've got a heat wave, at least 5 days of highs at or above 90 degrees. And Monday right now looks relatively dry, though I will say Monday night could see the chance for a shower or thunderstorm. We go into Tuesday, and that's where we're introducing the chances for showers and thunderstorms. And again, I'll explain in better depth the storm chances and what to expect out of those in a moment, but I just want to show you the 7-day, the 14-day, and then kind of outline it for you, and then we'll go back into the storm chances. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking at these showers and storms each day, but it's not going to be an all-out washout throughout the entire days. It's going to be more dry than wet Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We go beyond the 7-day forecast. Those storm chances really begin to increase next Friday, so the August 30th. And that's because it's going to be part of a cold front. And notice the highs, 87 on Friday. Next Friday, not tomorrow. And then Labor Day weekend, which I forgot to put an icon here. This is Labor Day. This is, again, the 14-day forecast. But Labor Day weekend, storm chances still for that Saturday. Highs are in the mid-80s. And then we go into Sunday and Labor Day. Not too bad. We've got temperatures in the low to mid-80s, which is normal for this time of the year. Along with that, it looks to be dry. But we go into the middle of the first full week of September, and we begin to fall into what looks like an unsettled pattern. Now, not a complete washout, but it is rain chances, and we do need the rain chances, as I showed at the beginning of this broadcast, with those drought conditions here in the tri-state. So that is day 8 to day 14. in detail. And let's just wrap it all up here in your 7-day plus. So this shows you the temperature lines and kind of the general trend. So right now our normal high is 85. By September 5th, our normal high is 82. And when it comes to morning lows, our normal morning low for tonight is 64. And by September 5th, it's 61. So we're beginning to really feel the temperatures dropping in the next several weeks here with averages. But notice, we are above the curve going into the next week. So we got 5 days of temperatures at or above 90 degrees. And then going into the first days of September, temperatures actually begin to get close to normal for highs. And then for morning lows, you can see here, we're kind of hugging that normal line. So not looking too absurd, though I will say for Tuesday and Wednesday, morning lows will be in the 70s. So it's going to be quite sticky for the first half of next week at least. So that is the next 7 days, or next 14 days, so the 7-day plus. That is the temperature trends for what you typically see. We're the only station that does this in the Cincinnati area, showing you the next 14 days. It can be done. Now, granted, you go into day 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Details can be a little wishy-washy, and that's just kind of the nature of the game. But we at least try to provide it for you the best we can. And so now what I'm going to do is show you the forecast model data of the storm chances we have coming in beginning Monday night in a moment. So take a pause here, take a look at our Facebook page, see if we got any comments or questions, and we will go forward once we complete that. Rhoda, if I mispronounced your name, I apologize, says hello everyone in Cincinnati. Hello to you. Tara says hello. Susan, I'm ready for these hot temps to go away. Yes, I agree, Susan. It's actually the latter half of August now. Pumpkin spice fall season stuff is coming in at Starbucks, and at this point, I'm ready for it. Fall's my favorite season, too. Rachel says, boo. I'm sorry, Rachel. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, unless you're booing me, of which I'm sorry. I'll be also doing the 7:15 weather show tomorrow as well for Steve. Steve is going to be taking off the Friday late evenings to get some time off, spend some time with his dogs and his wife. Michael on my Facebook page, at Ethan Emery WX, says, thanks, Ethan. Great work. Thank you, Michael, for tuning in. Really appreciate you joining us. Faye says, thank you. Nice to know weather. Nice weather. Thank you, Faye. Yeah, it is nice weather tonight and tomorrow, but we are cranking up the heat, as I've been mentioning, for this weekend and next week. Okay. Now, let's take a look at that forecast model. This was updated about 3 hours ago or so, 3.5 hours ago. And this is what we call a global model. So this model goes out pretty far out, about at least 10 days. And it allows us to kind of see the general patterns and intensity of the rain. It's not always the best exactly locations per se, but it does a pretty good job at regionally what to expect. Pretty good model. Call it the European model if you're a weather geek at home. So, of course, through the weekend, things are dry, looking quiet. Monday morning, got some activity to our north, right here. This looks to miss us on Monday. I think Monday we're going to be dry. It's going to be humid, it's going to be hot, but it's going to be dry. We go into Monday night, though. Take a look at this. Go forward in time. So this is at 9, 10, 11. There you go. You got some activity around the tri-state. So this far out, there's still some questions as to where this is going to go. If you watched 19 at noon today with me, this was all the way, if I recall, over here. So models are kind of, really don't know exactly where they're going to fire up, but it's somewhere in the region, enough to where Monday night we're going to introduce a chance for showers and storms. And in this scenario, We've got a lot of folks who usually ask this if we're going to look at the potential for strong or severe storms. Can't rule it out. However, this far out, it's really vague. But given this pattern, I would say Monday late evening, so after sunset Monday, there could be storms that have very heavy rain, strong wind gusts, and frequent lightning. Those are the three things I would consider in these storms in this pattern. Now, as we get closer, there could be some more defined things that show up that could make us adjust things to focus more on hail potential or even a tornado threat. Now, right now, there doesn't appear to be a tornado threat. That being said, the main threat looks to be heavy rain, maybe some strong gusty winds in any of these storms. But that far out, take it with a grain of salt. This is Monday night into Tuesday morning. Tuesday, you can see here, we've got pop-up chances for showers and storms in the afternoon and evening. Again, same thing. Given this pattern setup, if any storm develops, I would not be shocked if it's heavy rain, strong gusty winds, thunder and lightning. So if you got plans to be outside next week, don't cancel them. Do not cancel them right now. You still got time to wait, look at updates. However, if you got outdoor plans beginning Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, maybe want to have an indoor option, just an option. Don't make it the primary option, but just have it there. Have it in your back pocket. That's Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. We go into Wednesday. Same thing. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And the pattern appears to be Tuesday and Wednesday, these clusters of showers and thunderstorms. You might have heard them being referred to as ridge riders, MCSs, MCVs. There's different terms for it, but it's this little clusters of storms that kind of behave on their own. They thrive in these really hot, humid climates, and they kind of form pretty quickly. And they're not associated with a cold front. They're not associated with low pressure systems so much, but they usually ride along the edge of a really big high pressure system if the humidity, temperature, all that stuff is just right. And that appears to be the case. Now, again, just like I said a moment ago, these things are really tricky to forecast for. Take all of this with a grain of salt in terms of what to expect, the timeline. Those are questions that cannot be answered right now. It's way too early. But Tuesday and Wednesday, I do look at the potential for these storms to fire up somewhere in and around the Ohio Valley region. I just showed you from 19 at noon compared to now for Tuesday. It had it over here for Tuesday. Now it's over here. This, well, it was still kind of over us, but still. Wednesday, we could also see these showers and storms move in. So that's for Wednesday. We go into Thursday, same thing. Now granted, this is a bit more widespread, but it's close enough in the region to where we need to talk about that chance here in the tri-state. Now I will say higher confidence shows up to be Friday, specifically Friday afternoon, of a front moving in. And this front is going to have with it showers and thunderstorms, of course, and it's going to have some forcing to it. So we got to pay attention to not just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but also Friday with these showers and storms. And given how hot it's going to be and humid, these storms could easily have some very heavy rainfall and some strong wind gusts. And that's just kind of the name of the game. Even not looking at, the sciencey dynamics of the storms, just looking at the fact that it's going to be really hot and humid, and the humidity and the heat can have any storm dump a lot of heavy rain. When you have a lot of heavy rain, there's going to be some kind of cool air behind that. And when you have that temperature difference, it causes wind. So looking at those things to be kind of the primary things to watch for next week's storm chances. And then we go into next weekend, not this upcoming Saturday, Sunday, but the following Saturday and Sunday, things do look to dry out. And with those conditions drying out, temperatures look to be a bit more normal for this time of the year. So hopefully that answered some questions. I'll take a look at our Facebook pages and see if I missed anything. Faye, saying the rains have been welcomed. We needed it and still do. Yes, we definitely do. I was at my dad's property on Monday, and let me tell you, the pond that we have about 1.5 feet low from what it's supposed to be. And the grass is, most of it's dry and brown and crusty, but there are some spots that are green, and that's usually at the bottom of a hill or at the top of a hill because after the rain we had this weekend. One more comment on my Facebook page. Jeff asking, any snow? You know, I wish. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Although, when I lived in Rapid City, South Dakota, my first fall there, we had snow. It was October 6th. I did not like that. It was too early. It was very wet snow, too. But, yeah, if you want snow, you got to go far north. It's been really, actually, speaking of where my first job in TV in Rapid City, we're dealing with a lot of wildfires and also severe weather up there, too. So wildfires, severe storms, they get a lot of stuff. People complain about the tri-state getting a lot of crazy weather. We do. But I can assure you, living in South Dakota for 2 years, it is crazier there. There was a weekend where we had highs in the mid-60s on Saturday, and then Sunday we had a high of 3. 3. Pretty crazy. Okay, so here's the 7-day forecast. We'll take a look at that, show you the 14-day forecast one more time, and then if anyone else has anything to say, speak now or forever hold your peace, because after I show you the 14-day, we're going to conclude this weather show, which, of course, we're live almost everywhere, the exception being on Fox19.com and on other streaming like Roku and stuff like that, because we got our Bengals preseason pregame show. But here is that 7-day forecast. You see those high temperatures going into the weekend. So 85 for your Friday, upper 80s for your Saturday, 91 Sunday. Next week, it's just going to be downright hot. Low to mid 90s for highs. Humidity is going to be up. It's not going to be of anything major, but Tuesday and Wednesday could certainly see heat index values in the triple digits. Of course, barring any kind of rain that could cool the air down. But still looking at storm chances on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday night could even see some storms, something we'll be monitoring. And then, of course, beyond the 7-day forecast, this is going into Labor Day weekend into the first week of September. You can see temperatures will get a little bit milder, a little more seasonable for those first few days of September. This is, of course, per the latest data that's showing up on all the different models we look at, all the different stuff we look at. But it does look like we have some storm opportunities, some rain opportunities, but it does not appear to be enough to overcome just how dry it has been in those drought conditions here in the tri-state. So here is that 7-day plus in a more easier to digest view. And it's just highs and lows, but you can see we do have that big heat wave coming in beginning Sunday, lasting through Thursday. And then we go into Labor Day weekend, temperatures actually get closer to normal, and it looks to stay that way through the first week of September. And then morning lows are kind of all over the place depending on the day. So morning lows generally into the low to mid 60s for most days, although there are a couple of mornings where it's going to be humid. Of course, that's aligning with those hottest days of the next 14-day forecast. We'll leave you with this. The drought monitor. So, though there are areas that have seen improvement, particularly areas to our west, we're still going to monitor this for everybody because of just for the fact that this forecast this week and into early next week is going to be dry. This week has been dry. That could make an impact for other locations too. I, of course, am particularly watching areas to our far east who are dealing with this extreme drought conditions. I got friends and family who work in agriculture, it's heavily impacting them, and we hate to see that. Because, of course, weather has impacts not just on our day-to-day lives of, should I have an umbrella? Should I plan on driving in wet roads? But it also has impacts, economically speaking, for folks who have to work outside, construction workers, agricultural workers. I come from a blue-collar family, so I really take a lot of pride in to try to make sure that those folks get as much information as they can. And this weather show makes it a lot easier to do that. So that is the drought monitor behind me. This was issued earlier this morning. And I want to close it off with a beautiful view of our, let's go to the tower camera once the computer wants to load. Any more questions or comments? Oh, Faye says thank you for local weather. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Uh-oh. What's happening? The computer's telling me to shut up. Oh, here we go. So here is our Fox 19 tower camera. This is located over towards Fairmount, looking towards the banks, and there's Paycor. Beautiful view there. The stadium's going to be getting to get filled up for this final preseason game. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll, of course, give you those highlights of the preseason game right here on Fox 19. The game will be here on Fox 19. We got news. Steve Horstmeyer will give you that updated forecast after the game, so after 10 o'clock more than likely. We may go on late depending on how this game goes, but we are scheduled to go on at 10. So we've got a beautiful evening ahead, beautiful weather tomorrow, but then the heat builds back into the tri-state. So, of course, for more information, you can go to fox19.com/weather. I've wrote a big old discussion explaining all this stuff. And then, of course, Steve's got you covered tonight after the game. So thank you all so much for joining us on this Thursday edition of our First Alert Weather the First Alert Weather 7:15 weather show. Have a good evening.